worst possible thing you could say when you walk into a car dealership. I spent 5 years with Mercedes-Benz, 5 with General Motors, and the worst thing a person could say when they walk in is, if you could just get me to this payment, we got a deal.
So your loan's probably still like 19, which means you got to pay to get out. You're upside down. It's called negative equity. Welcome to episode 3 of Car Shopping Questions and Answers. I'm your host, Deshone the Auto Advisor. I am the author of Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I'm also the creator of the Cars from Home video library and the Cars from Home Insider Coaching Program. We do these shows at 12 Eastern Time and 3 Eastern Time live, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, so you can tell your friends. That's when I'm live. We do rebroadcast these shows throughout the day. So if you miss them, you could always catch the rebroadcast. But we're live right now on all 4 platforms. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe if you want to continually get the best car shopping information from an insider. I left the car business in 2020 after 14 years. And now what I do is show you how to car shop strategically from home and how to get great deals in as quick as 60 to 90 minutes. So start typing your questions. I got my man, I see you, Just Blaze. Great to see you. I see you, Alexia. I see you, Jesse. Start typing your questions. We're going to have my man Dolan, who's moderating in the background. He's going to bring all these questions in from all 4 platforms. So, oh, by the way, the show is sponsored by my new digital book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. You can get your copy for 75% off as part of our launch in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio, or you can click the link, Deshone's book, or scan the QR code. Let's throw that QR code up for them, Dolan, so they can actually see it if they're watching on a television. And let's get down to business. We're going to be here for about an hour. I'm going to try to get through as many questions as I possibly can. So whenever we get the first one, Dolan, you can throw it up on the screen and let's get busy. Shout out to the sharers too. I appreciate everybody who tags friends and invites people to the broadcast. We really appreciate you. Is there a different approach for no trading? I have a very old used car. Absolutely. So you can skip that step. So many of you know that step 2 in my process is to do an equity assessment, but that's only if you're replacing a car. The reason why you must do an equity assessment is because sometimes you'll find out your car either has equity, or if it's paid off, it's worth a couple $1,000s, in which case that goes into your budgeting. Now, you might put that money in your bank account and make your new car deal with no money out of pocket, or you might choose to apply a portion of that or all of that to your next transaction. But what I don't want you to ever do is wait until you get to the dealership that you're going to get the car from, and then let them be your first offer on your current car. So if you don't have a car that you're replacing, then you would simply skip that step. You wouldn't skip step 1, which is the most important question. This is when you're asking yourself how many years you're going to keep the car. But you skip step 2, the equity assessment, because you don't have a car. Now, in your case, if you have a very old car, you still probably want to list that car on Facebook Marketplace because it's still worth something, unless you just want to keep it around your household. But if you don't have a car to replace, then you would simply skip to the budgeting step. And in which case, when you decide whether you're buying or leasing, you would be moving towards your budgeting, whether you're leasing and assessing how much the car you're going for should lease for, or whether you are purchasing and you are budgeting to see how much car you could afford based on whether you're going to pay cash or based on whether you're going to get your loan. So that's just a step you skip. Great question though. Okay, go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. Does MSRP include all of the dealer fees? No, it doesn't. MSRP on a new car. Could y'all keep running those likes up on TikTok? Welcome to the new people. Type your questions. We're live. It is like we're 100% live on Tuesday. So start typing your questions and we'll get to you guys. But start tapping the screen so we can shoot those likes up and let TikTok know that we're talking serious business over here. Thank y'all. I see y'all running them up. Okay. Does the MSRP include all dealer fees? So it depends on what dealer. Usually no, because 80% of dealers, as I say, we have about 8,000 people that we've worked with since 2021, between the people who've gotten my book and the people who've used the video library, the Cars from Home video library. We get people data from all around the country. And what we see is about 80% of dealers are overcharging you, whether they're not giving you the discounts that their competitors would give you, or whether they're marking the MSRP up with bogus fees that they will try to convince you need to pay if you want to buy from them. So the only way that if you're talking about, like, let's say I'm shopping for Toyota Highlander. When I'm looking at for example, let's say I'm shopping for a Toyota Highlander and I'm going to lease it. When I'm budgeting for a lease, our goal is to always assume about a 1.25% lease. So what I would do is I'd take that MSRP, let's say it's $48,000. I'd multiply that by 0.0125. That's going to be $600. $600 a month is what that vehicle should roundabout lease for when I find the best deal, which means one dealer beats all their competitors. And I'm not going to assume this to be the best deal, because we've had people who got 1% leases or 1.1% leases. We've also had people who get the best offer is going to be 1.4%. But what we're doing is we're using that middle portion. Some of you know 1.5 is the absolute max. You don't want to pay over 1.5. If I took that same vehicle, we'll do a lease scenario and then we'll do a purchase scenario. If you took 1.5 and you multiplied that by that same MSRP, now that's $720 a month. Above this, now we're paying too much for a vehicle we're going to be giving back. And the purpose of a lease is to avoid the natural depreciation that someone who's buying is going to take, and also to drive a lot of car for the money we're paying. So the lower percentage we pay relative to the MSRP, the better the deal. So everyone's going to charge different things. That's why we must get bids. We can't depend on a dealer who's going to say, oh, I'll honor the MSRP. And if I'm purchasing, then some dealers are going to not charge that same vehicle, that same $48,000 vehicle. Some dealers are going to charge $49,000 for it. Some dealers are going to charge $50,000 for it. Some dealers are going to charge $48,000 for it. And some dealers are going to charge less for it. We don't know who's who, which is why we must get bids. And part of what I teach is, and pretty much the gospel of what I teach is how to get bids online using dealers' websites so that we can sort for the best deal. We're not negotiating for the best deal. We are sorting. Good to see you, Yank. Even though you went a little left on the program yesterday, I saw you. But I'm here now. So go ahead, shoot the next question up, Dolan. Okay, this one's from YouTube. Brandon, I have good credit, but for some reason they always tell me I need a cosigner. How do I get around that? If you're purchasing, you want to control your financing first. So I wouldn't let the dealer tell. If you have good credit, what you should be doing is you should be purchasing your car, locking up your best deal, and then coming home. And this is for all of you. Who's going to be purchasing a car? Who's going to be purchasing? Now, if you're not keeping your car 8 years and you're new here, then you're going to find out that you should be leasing. But for the time period, I'm just going to base it off of what you know already. Who's going to be purchasing a car? Type me in the comments. Matter of fact, I need to see Instagram because I can't even see. I know, Dolan, you can see it, but I need to see Instagram as well. Hold on. While I'm doing this, y'all type if you're going to be purchasing. Okay, I see you, Brandon. All right, hold on one second. Let me get to Instagram. All right. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right, I can see Instagram now. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Okay, here we go. So if you're going to be purchasing, let me mute that. Yeah, I see you. She's like, please see us. I see you, LA Connects. Now I can see you. Okay. So if you're going to be purchasing, then what you're going to be doing is actually getting you're going to get your car. Do not let anyone touch your credit. No, this is for all cars, Crows. Just stay put. We talk about new cars, leases, and used cars. Stay put. Like, we got lots of people on 4 platforms. So you never want to let anyone touch your credit until you have already found your car. This is the mistake that you make, because dealers are going to try to get you to commit to them. And when they try to get you to commit to them, you have to be sharp enough to know, under no circumstances are you running my credit before you win the bid. Now, if you're doing it my way, you're not even in the dealer. But once you find your car, you are going to lock that car up. You're going to get a purchase order, a buyer's order. That's that long form receipt saying your information, the car, the price you paid for it, and you're going to take that home now. And that's when you are going to now go online or go to your bank or your credit union's online website, and you are going to now do hard inquiries and let all of these people access your credit so that they can bid for your interest, for your loan. So we want to guarantee we don't pay more than we could have in interest in our loan. So you're going to bring that home. You're not going to let the dealer be your first option for financing. Once you do this, I call this the bank bidding war. Experian lets you do this. The credit bureaus let you do this. And once you do this, you're going to now get multiple bids, go to online. You want to be on Google, online lenders, everybody you can actually get in touch with, and everyone who bids, who does loans, let them have a shot at it. If you do this within the 2 days that I'm teaching you to do it, it's going to weigh on your credit like one hard inquiry. You'll see all the banks listed, but the effects on your score will be the same as one hard inquiry. This is called rate shopping. So you come home, you let them access. Now, as soon as you get the best offer, that's when you are now going to call the dealer who you have the car locked up with. And that's when you're going to say, hey, I got this offer. Now, if you can beat it, I'll give you the business. Okay? That's how you do it. That's how you guarantee. And if you look at that process, it'll work every single time. And your goal is to make sure you never leave any money on the table with a lender. And if you do that with the dealership first, you're going to leave money on the lender and on the table, and you're at their mercy. That's the bank bidding war. All right, go ahead, shoot, and feel free to ask any follow-up questions. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. This one's from Instagram. How do I get out of negative equity? There's 3 ways. 2 of them lead to a car, 1 of them don't. First is you do an equity assessment. The equity assessment is when you call the bank, find out your payoff. Once you get your payoff, you're going to go to, this will take you 20 to 25 minutes to do. Everybody who has negative equity, focus on this right now. You're going to go to CarMax.com, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Do not use KellyBlueBook.com. Kelly Blue Book Instant Cash Offer. Our cars are only worth what someone's willing to cut us a check for. That's all they're worth. So these companies I'm giving you make you a cash offer. That's what we want. Kelly'sBlueBook.com. Instant cash offer. Car Guru, sell my car, and Auto Nation, sell my car. That's going to get you 6 offers. Now your best route to go is whatever your negative equity is based on those offers. if you can pay the difference, that's where you want to go. If your best offer is 21, but you owe 23, you want to pay that $2,000 and get out that car. Because the second route I'm about to tell you is going to give you a greater amount of negative equity. And then when you go to do this, you're going to see that you have less control. So your second route, if you can't pay the difference, is you must get the car from the dealer who actually you're buying the car from. You must give them your old car because you need them to wrap your loan. You need them to wrap that negative equity into your new car deal because you can't pay the difference. And 9 times out of 10, the car is not going to be worth to that dealer what it's worth to CarMax or Driveway or Carvana or one of these online bidders. So you'll find that your highest offer from the online bidders might be 21. Your highest offer from the dealer you're going to get your car from might be 19 because it's not worth that to them. So that's why I say plan A is pay the difference. Plan B is if you can't, you have to get your car from that dealer and ask them what to assess your car and see what it's worth to them because you need them to build it in. Now, if your negative equity is too much, if you have too much negative equity, then you're going to have a problem getting out because you're going to have you're going to mess up the loan to value ratio. You can't move 15 grand over on top of a $30,000 car and expect the bank to approve it. They're going to require you to put money, in which case you got to stay in that car. You either got to put the money down to get out, and or you got to stay in that car and pay down that balance. Those are the only two ways. And the cause of negative equity is you don't understand leasing. 9 times out of 10, I've been doing this since 2006. 90% of you who have negative equity, the cause is you don't understand leasing. In the next 2 days, I'm going to do a leasing versus buying class on this show. So make sure you are tapped in so that you can understand how much not understanding leasing has cost you already, and you can stop listening to this bad advice about leasing. Okay? All right, y'all. Listen, I'm not seeing the shares. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Y'all know I keep it straight. I'm a straight shooter. I'm a straight shooter. We live right now, and we talking about financial information that no one in this world is talking to you about at this particular time. It's not 20 Deshone the Auto Advisors out there. Tag somebody, invite somebody. Don't be selfish, okay? That's the problem. What got us into this problem is selfish car dealers. So if we're going to solve this problem and help people, we need to all participate, and we need to be inviting people to the show so that our friends a year from now don't come to you and be like, damn, man, I got this horrible car deal, man. And now you know that you were sitting on this show talking about how to get your great car deal, but you're not telling friends. So shout out to the sharers. I appreciate y'all. All right, go ahead. Shoot the next question up, Dolan. I see you, LA Connects. Appreciate you. Let's go. When I see leases advertised on TV or radio, why do they always have thousands do a signing? Well, this is a similar question. All right, Steve Phillips asked a question from TikTok, and then I see Dreamer asks about advertised leases that she sees that always require thousands down. So you always tell people how to customize your lease. You do not go into a dealer. If you first of all, we only go into a dealer to test drive. If you're shopping for a new car or a lease, you should only be in the dealer for 20 to 30 minutes, and your only purpose to be there is to test drive or to pick up your car because they won the bid. This is what I teach. This is all in my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealers. You can get your copy for 75% off in my TikTok bio, in my Instagram bio. It's a 7-step system for leasing, purchasing, new cars, used cars, everything. But part of this particular way, we shop. Shopping is not buying. And what the car business has taught you to do is mix the two into one. You go shopping to decide what you want. That's the purpose of shopping, y'all, to decide what you want. Deciding what you want is test driving, making sure your kids can fit in the car, making sure it has enough room, making sure it feels good. Once you decide what you want, now you're coming home and you are emailing them through their website and you're going to request your offer. So you are not ever going to say, work me up a lease, Mr. Car Dealer. If you say work me up a lease, they're going to work you up a lease based on probably a couple thousand down, probably leave out the tax and the fees, and you're going to deal with that nightmare of traditional car shopping. You are always going to request your leases with no money down, zero. Now, I want y'all to remember this. We do not want to use this term anymore, down payment. We want to start using, remember this, and I want y'all to write it after I tell it to you. Total out of pocket. Total out of pocket. Or you could put TOP. All right? Everybody who's locked in, I want you to type TOP. Okay? Type TOP. I want to see the people that are locked in. If you've been in my master classes, we're about action here. We're not about casual nothing. No one's fighting for your money if you're not. You're not going to casually save $5,000, $10,000 and avoid this if you're not locked in. Okay, type TOP. I see you, Dreamer. I see you, Daryl. I see you, Brittany. All right, I see you, Jay Buggs. All right, I see you, Patrice. I see you, Instagram. All right, Instagram and TikTok locked in. I don't see Facebook and YouTube locked in. I'm just telling y'all. I'm gonna start calling some of you out because you're not gonna win if you're not locked in. This is big money, and there's a $1 billion industry that is depending on you staying stuck in the old way you buy cars. So TOP, I see you. That's the term. No longer do you say down payment when you're talking to dealers. I see you, LaDonna. Way to represent Facebook. You are gonna say total out of pocket. Because total out of pocket means, Mr. Dealer, this is the total amount I'm giving you. Down payment can be mixed up. Down payment can mean, $2,000 down plus tax. $2,000, no, it's different than out the door more. That's a different term. There is a place for out the door price. But in this particular case, we are using total out of pocket when we are contacting dealers to request our offers. First payment is the only thing we are putting out of pocket when we're getting lease offers. So it does not mean we're not going to add additional money later, but it does mean for the offers that we're going to look at, I need my first month's payment out of pocket, and then you give me your offer. What that allows us to do is divide that monthly payment into the MSRP of the car and get that formula that I was talking about 10 minutes ago, that 1% formula, that 1.2%, that 1.5%. You can only work this with first month's payment out of pocket. So we dictate how we want the quotes. And if somebody says, hey, 2,000 down, you're still going to come back to them and say, hey, please resubmit the quote to me with only first month's payment total out of pocket. See, car dealers, we understand those terms. We know what total out of pocket means, but what we're depending on is that you don't understand what that means. The 80% of dealers are depending on the fact you don't understand what total out of pocket means, and they can just flip it up on you. So that's what we do. It's not about advertisements. Let me show y'all something before we move to the next question. Get the next question ready, Dolan. I'm going to show you a deal that somebody in the Cars from Home library made, somebody who uses my stuff. Don't shoot it up yet. Not yet, Dolan. Hold on. This is Charles. Charles got a Hyundai Palisade. $48,000 vehicle, $48,595. We always request our quotes with 12,000 miles per year, always. If you're going to do, Deshone, I do 18,000. Then you're going to adjust your mileage after you find your best deal. You're not going to do quotes for 18,000, always with 12. And then once we find our best deal, then we're adjusting. But Charles got $597 on a $48,000 vehicle. That's all he gave them, $597. So if he had depended on advertisements, he'd never get this deal. Hyundai Palisade like that, that's probably $597 with $3,000 out of pocket plus tax and fees. What am I trying to tell you by showing you this? Great deals are not advertised. Great deals are never going to be advertised. Great deals are made in the background. No one knows about them. Dealers don't even want to make them. They're sitting there saying, hey, listen, can you get them? They talk to the salespeople. Hey, can you get them to come up a little more? Can you get them to pay another, $50 a month, $40 a month? Can you get anything out of them? No. All right, go make the deal. That is what a great deal is. Not something that you're going to see on commercials advertised to hundreds of thousands of people. So forget about commercials. Commercials are for people who don't mind overpaying. People who shop for deals the way I'm teaching you to shop, our deals are never going to be advertised. In fact, when you go pick up your car, they might tell you, listen, I'd love for you to send me some friends, but don't tell them what you're paying because I can't duplicate this deal. This deal, I can't, I don't want to do a deal like that. So that's what we do. We customize our quotes. We don't let other people customize them. And you can do deals with no money down all day long. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. Great questions so far. Let's go. Keep the questions going. Let's go. Listen, right now, we got at least another 45 minutes. We're going to get through as many questions as possible. So let's go. This one's from Instagram. How can a person with not great credit get a good deal? You got to understand, if you don't have great credit, the only thing you should be overpaying for is interest. You got to separate your car from the loan. Your bad credit or your not perfect credit is between you and the person lending you money. Not between you and the dealer. Not between you and you're sitting around and you've been in a car dealer. Who's experienced this? Matter of fact, don't say if you've experienced this. But I know some of you have, and I know, millions of people have. You go in at 9 a.m. to the dealership, you find your car, you don't have great credit. Now you're sitting there and you're waiting for hours for them to get an approval. You see people driving out with their new cars. Some people saw you walk in with them at 9:30 a.m. They done left at 12, 1 o'clock with their car. You still there. This is mixing the car with the loan. We don't want to do that. You got to separate the car. So the car is one thing. That's why we always want to make sure we're getting the car at a great price. You shop independently. You use a company in my book, I recommend Limbuzz for people who don't have great credit. But Limbuzz is going to require you get a good deal on the car because you can overpay for the car and then you can hurt your ability to get the loan because you're overpaying for the car. So you must make sure you are using strategy, shopping multiple offers. If you're shopping for a used car, we could talk about that depending on if somebody asked the question. If you're shopping for a new car, whatever you're shopping for, you must make sure that you find the dealer who's going to sell it to you lower than anyone else. Now, once you find that, you're going to independently have your financing. And if you don't have good credit right now, one of the companies I recommend is Limbuzz. And Limbuzz will usually approve people that a lot of people won't approve. They work with a lot of people who don't have good credit. And then your financing, if you pay 18% interest or 15% or whatever it's going to be, that's between you and the lender, not the dealer. Does that make sense? So we must separate our transactions if we're going to win. All right? We must separate. Go ahead. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. Oh, and one thing. Here we go. I need to purchase a car in less than 2 weeks. Trying to determine lease or purchase. Easy. Who wants to know beyond a shadow of a doubt whether they should lease a vehicle or purchase? Type me if you're just like, Deshone, I've heard this, I've heard that, but I really want to know what's best. All right, all right, I see you, Tavy. I see you, Veronica. I see you on TikTok. TikTok is commenting fast. I need Instagram. All right, I see you, Patrice. All right, I see you, The Well Life. Perfect. All right. TikTok and Instagram is on point. Facebook and YouTube, y'all got to type fast to keep your hands by your keyboards. All right, Terrence. Okay, so here is the determining factor. In my book, I teach 7 steps to 7 steps. It doesn't matter. The first step is the most important question. The most important question, I want y'all to remember this. It's tied to something I created called the 8-year rule. The most important question is, and I want you to answer it, for everybody shopping for a car, or if you will be, how many years are you keeping your next car? This is the first thing you ask yourself. This is the first thing when your family is looking for a car, your son, your daughter, your spouse. The first thing you're asking yourself is, how many years am I keeping the next car? So answer that question. See, what you're going to see is if you're learning from me and you're going to use what I'm teaching you, it's going to be a system. We're not winging it anymore. We're not randomly shopping and doing things based on, all right, I think I should do this now. I think I should do this now. My book, all of this is in my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealership. You can get yours for 75% off in my TikTok bio. It's normally $97, but for 30 minutes, you can get yours for 75% off. You go to my TikTok and Instagram bio. So I see you, Latasha, 5 to 6 years. Tavy, 5 to 6 years. All right, Crowsman, till the doors fall off. Okay, the well life, 6 or 7 years. Everybody answer that question. 8 to 10 years usually. I see you, Terrence. Brandon, Steph, 10 to 15 years. Okay, just bought the book. Hey, congratulations. Use it. Enjoy it and use it. Well life, you're going to love it. And make sure you write me with your success stories. When you get your car, send me the deal. Congratulations. So 5 to 7 years. So now remember this. And don't try not to say something abstract. Like, long as possible, that's too abstract. Like, years. What's our goal? 8, 10, 15, till it doesn't drive anymore. Whatever. We want to get a clear picture. Here's why. This is going to be your first step from now on when you are car shopping. Asking yourself this question. We're still on the overall question, which is, should we lease or buy? That's the question we're on overall. Now I'm going to show y'all something that's going to help you understand why we asked this question first, and it's the depreciation scale. So I'm going to use this for you to understand. When you buy a car today, if I put a $30,000 car outside your house right now, if you didn't drive it, you don't drive it 1 mile, is that car worth $30,000 a year from now? You never touched it. You never touched it. Is that car worth $30,000 a year from now? Exactly, Dominic. No. Okay, Veronica. No. Okay, Crowsman. No. So we understand Wu-Tang Land. No. That's your first lesson on depreciation. That's something called the unseen expense. This is the expense most people are not trained to see. That's why they buy their cars and think, oh, I could just drive as much as I want, and it doesn't matter. I'm not paying for the miles. You are paying for the miles. Let's go deeper with this lesson. Now, if you don't drive it 1 mile, we all agree it was worth $30,000. A year later, it's probably worth $25,000. We didn't touch it. Now, if we drive it average miles, 12,000, it's probably worth $22,000. You know, if we drive it high miles, it's probably worth $20,000. So you see that no matter whether you buy or lease, you pay for the mileage. You pay for your usage. In fact, you even pay if you don't use it. So now, I want to use something a little harder than that. When you understand that, you're going to see, Deshone, okay, if I'm losing that type of money in my car when I buy it, when do I ever get to a point where I'm winning? And the longer you keep a car, the more this starts to level out. So when you get to about 7 years, now you're no longer losing thousands of dollars every year. This is the purpose of the purchase, is to get to a point where your car is no longer losing value every year, and you can keep it, and it becomes something that is an asset because it's not taking money out of your house and you're not losing money. Now, the mistake is when you people who answered, if you're a person who said 5 years, 4 years, 3 years, 6 years, your mistake is buying a car and you trying to replace it while it's still on this type of drop. That's why you're never happy when you go trade your car. That's why you have negative equity, because the asset value is so low because it's dropping like a brick every single time for the first 5 years, every single year, first 5, 6 years. How do we avoid that long term? So every one of you that said, Deshone, 8 years, 10 years, you should be purchasing. Deshone, what if I'm not keeping it that long? You should be shopping for leases, because you cannot compare. Look at Danielle. Look at Danielle. Danielle's lease deal, she got $44,000 Audi A3. She's paying $550 a month, no money down. That same car, if she bought it, would be $900 a month. Every $5,000, some of you know, is about $100 a month on a 5-year loan. Depends on what the interest rate is. So that same car that she's driving for $550 would be about $900 a month to buy. So we have to understand, the leasing versus buying question is so easy once you just follow these parameters. You are avoiding depreciation when you get great lease deals, or you're avoiding depreciation when you buy and keep 8+ years. Anytime in between that or any other strategy, you are not avoiding depreciation. The unseen expense is what's taking the most money from your household, is the unseen expense. Everybody clear on that so far? If you're clear on that, type clear. If you're clear on that, type clear. I call this the 8-year rule. You will not, if you stick to this, you will win every time. And if you break this rule, you're going to lose every time. See, I can't help you get a great deal if you bought when you should have leased. Think about Danielle's deal that I just told y'all about. $550 a month on the Audi A3. Even the person who bought and they were paying $900 a month, even if they saved another $5,000, got a ridiculous deal off the car, which we could get. We help you get the best deal. That's no problem. But if you bought it, you're still $8 something a month. So if your deal is on the wrong foundation, there's no way to get a great deal. So buying versus leasing, the most important question, the 8-year rule, is your first step always. Okay, and I see a lot of people typing clear. So good. Okay, shoot the next question up, Dolan. And I know some of you are like, Deshone, I was taught all my life, don't lease. If you weren't keeping your cars 8 years, then those people who taught you that owe you some money. They're not going to give it to you, but unfortunately, they have cost you money. I followed your process and leased 2 cars. Your approach is easy and very transparent. This is Instagram. I appreciate this. The dealerships could not hide. Appreciate you. Come on. See, that's how I want every one of you talking. That's how I want every one of you talking. We're no longer negotiating to get our best deals. We are sorting and letting people come to us. It's oil and water. You got to complete. Why do you think I represent Unlearn, Relearn? Because I know the first problem I saw when I started teaching this in 2021, I started before that, but God blew me up in 2021. You know, we got 1.5 million followers on TikTok, and everything went crazy since then. We teach, but I was like, oh, people got so much bad information that they got to unlearn. I can't put good information on top of bad information. So you got to be willing to scrap that, realize it's cost you money. It's from people who don't understand cars. They might have bought 10 cars, 20 cars in their life. Now they think they're an expert. And that's just cost you. So you got to be willing to unlearn all of that stuff and learn the new way. And that's what we do here. So I'm glad. Enjoy. I'm so glad you're empowered, Coach Booker T. You're empowered. And that's what I want for everybody. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. I have a Jag and need to downsize. All right, we'll get to you. I see you on TikTok. I have a Jag and need to downsize. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate all the gifts on TikTok. Could y'all keep running the screen, the likes up, tapping the screen? If you're spending time with us and you're going to spend a couple minutes with us, can y'all just every couple minutes just tap the screen, keep shooting those likes up? We get TikTok's attention. We let them know we talking about things over here that more people need to hear. So appreciate all of you. I see you already. All right, this one's from TikTok. How long can you keep a car when you lease? Asking with miles. 3 years. 3 years. We don't do 4-year lease deals. Stay away from 4-year lease deals. When you are getting your offers, and we do this online, so we go direct to the dealer site. We don't go through a third party because they pay for those leads. We don't want anything that drives the cost up when it comes to us. We go direct to the dealer's websites. In my book, I have a link to all the dealer's websites. I teach you how to do a radius search, and it takes about 15 minutes to contact 25 dealers, because when we shop for new cars and leases, we use something I created called the 25 to 5 strategy. So we're going to connect with 25 dealers online, and then we're going to get 5 to 7 quotes from that. So we're going direct to the dealer's website. That also allows us to shop out of 25 dealers' inventories, because 1 or 2 dealers is not enough. They might not have what you're looking for. Now you're at the mercy of who has what you're looking for. When we connect with 25, we're typically going to be able to get 5 to 7 offers from that. So this takes about 15. It just takes about 15 minutes. But we don't want to, like I said about 10 minutes ago, we dictate how we want our leases customized. And our leases are always first payment out of pocket, total out of pocket, first payment, 12,000 miles per year. And then we are, we're doing 12,000. And once someone wins the bid, out of those 5 to 7 offers, you're going to see, again, like I said, between the Cars from Home book, between the Cars from Home video library, and between my coaching program, we've done this with about 8,000 people since 2021. I can tell you we have enough data to tell you this is how it goes. Once you get 5 to 7 offers, you're going to see at least $150 to $200 difference from your best offer to your worst offer. That proves, that's why I say 80% of dealers are overpriced. So once you see that bid, you're going to, but we dictate that 3 years. We don't let people present leases to us. We tell them, this is how I want the lease. And if anyone suggests a 4-year lease, even a 3.5-year lease is too long, because you're eliminating the benefits of leasing, which is switching cars every 3 years. I want the latest and greatest. I want to pay the pennies on the dollar compared to someone purchasing. And I want to be able to switch cars, and most of the time be under warranty, depending on what brand you're shopping for. If you're shopping Chevy, if you're shopping Ford, if you're shopping most brands with a 3-year bumper-to-bumper warranty, once you go 3.5, once you go 4, you're out of warranty. So I don't even like going 3.5. If it's a ridiculous deal for 3.5, maybe, but I'm typically 3 years, 39 months, maybe, and that's in my template. We'll do 3 or 39 months. 2-year lease deals are rare. You don't really see great 2-year lease deals. But if a manufacturer has it, then a dealer would tell you. When we contact them, they'll tell, hey, we got a great 2-year lease deal. Are you open to that? Yeah, we're open to 2, but we're not open to going longer than 39 months. We're paying too long on a car we're giving back. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. Great question. All right, I see you. Perfect. Great questions. All right, Facebook. What's the best credit score to have when looking for a good deal on a brand new car? It's no way to dictate that. All you can do is now, if you're at a point where your credit is in that fair range, which is in that low 6s, mid 6s, then I would tell you, if you can, get yourself up to close to 7, get yourself up to 680, 690, 700, because that fair range is but that's really mostly with leases. But even even if you look, some of you are homeowners. When you buy a house, we're trying to get our credit to wherever it needs to be. If it's not there from the get-go, realtors will tell you, get your credit here so that you can get a mortgage. If you have the luxury of time, then sure, work on it. But our process, the bank bidding war process, eliminates the need for you to actually do this, because what it's going to do is going to, no matter where you find yourself at, you're going to get so many bids, you're going to make sure that whatever the best loan was that you could qualify for, you got it. I talked about the bank bidding war at the beginning of the show. So y'all know, if you're on YouTube, watch the replay, rewind it, watch the replay. We are live at 12 and 3 p.m., y'all. We're doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 12 p.m., 3 p.m. We are live. actually live. But throughout the day, we rebroadcast these shows so that more people can see them. But in any time outside of that, I want you to go back and watch the replay if we answer something that you ask. And you want to find out, if you get the book, you'll see the bank bidding war that I send out with the book. That's how we get banks and credit unions to bid for our loan. But I explained it earlier in the show. All right, shoot the next one up, Dolan. All right, this one showing up from YouTube. Quick question: would you pay $9,000 for an SUV with 164,000 on the dash? It's a 2014. All right, so great YouTube name and picture. Shout out to the Last Dragon. No. Well, look, it's car specific. When we shop for used cars, who's going to be shopping for a used car? Type a letter U. I want y'all to listen up. We use a process called the multiple marketplace strategy. This is in my, now I told y'all, our process for shopping for new cars is, or new cars and leases, is the 25-5. Our process for shopping for used cars is the multiple marketplace strategy, because we want to be on every marketplace that has a car. And there's 8 of them: Driveway, Carvana, CarMax, Carfax.com, Car Gurus, AutoNation, Cars.com, eBay Motors, and I'm missing one. These all have different inventory. Now, some of the inventory is the same. I've seen times where you go on AutoNation, you go on Auto Trader, and the price hasn't been updated, but you go on Car Gurus and the price has been updated. So there's a car for 36. Same car on Auto Traders is 34. So you must be on all marketplaces. But then there's a process that we use to sort down to get a quality car. First thing we're going to do is, if you are aiming for a car, you need to do a longevity check and a reliability check. This takes 5 minutes. We type in the year, make, model into Google, reliability, and we skim those first couple articles. If you see a bunch of stuff that says questionable reliability, 7 out of 10, 6.5 out of 10, that's enough to eliminate the car, in my opinion. After you type in reliability, and look, my whole process for shopping takes 60 to 90 minutes. So everything I'm telling you to do are 5-minute things, 20-minute things, 15-minute things. We do this right from home. That's why the book is called Cars from Home: 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. So now, once you do reliability, now you're going to do longevity. Longevity is going to tell you what the data says about that car long term. If it has transmission issues, if it's not known for lasting. Sometimes the longevity records on Google will say this car is known to last 200 to 300,000 miles. So that's the first thing. Thank you, Mr. Super. I see you. That's the first thing. Before we even look at a car and consider it, we got to make sure we do that 5-minute check. Now, once we move past that, now we're moving into our process of sorting down, because we could have a good car with good data, but we could get a bad car based on the previous owners. So first thing we're looking at is the Carfax. Carfax. We want to know what that title's like. Is it salvage? Is it rental? Is it frame damage? Is it rebuilt? We're eliminating those. Now we're moving on to service records. This is the biggest indicator, in my opinion, on if a car was taken care of. It's not title history. It's not accident history. It's service records. Service records. So if I see a car and I see that the service has been done year by year, whether it's a one owner, and I can see every couple thousand miles, service. Great indicator. Great indicator. Opposite is also true. Hold on, Darryl, it's in my TikTok bio. You won't leave the broadcast. He said, how do I get the book? Go to my TikTok bio, Click that link. You'll see a link for 75% off for 30 minutes. Grab your copy. It'll be in your inbox in a couple minutes. Okay? And everybody who's on here, you can get your copy for 75% off my new digital book. And I do updates. So anything changes in the market, I update it so that it stays fresh, it stays relevant. So once we move past service records, now we're moving to accident history. Now, all accidents aren't created equal. If you see an accident and it says airbags deployed, that's a deal breaker for me. If you see an accident and it says vehicle towed, that's a deal breaker for me. If you see an accident and it says vehicle drivable, minor accident, that's not a deal breaker for me. Depending on, I'll put it in my top 5. Doesn't mean it's going to be the one that wins, but I will put it in my top 5, top 7. So these are the things that you're looking for when you actually are shopping, trying to make sure the car is good. It's not just the year. It's not just the price. Forget about that. That comes later. It's not the mileage. Those things come first to dictate, is this a good car? Car could have 60,000 miles on it. If it has bad title history, bad accident history, no service records, it's a trouble car. So that's the system. As I said, everything I want you to do from now on is shop with a system. So you are not winging it anymore. You follow those systems. Again, there's no guarantees. But if you have a strategy and you're like, okay, I'm taking the steps to do my best to make sure that whatever I put my money in, I've done the due diligence, 9 times out of 10, you're going to win versus just winging it. Okay, great question. Great question. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. Oh, by the way, I teach a strategy where you might not know. I'm getting ready to give y'all some game. The whole show is game, but I'm gonna get ready to give y'all one of my secret strategies. It's in my book. I got a lot of stuff in my book. A lot of stuff. But a lot of you don't know when you're on these marketplaces. Keep that question ready. We're gonna go to that next one in 2 seconds. That Carfax, many dealers have agreements with Carfax. So when you're on these marketplaces, you might see Carfax, they'll try to sell you a Carfax. What we do is we bypass we'll go to the dealer's website and we'll see if they have a free Carfax there. Because if that dealer has an agreement with Carfax, that means every car in their inventory, they'll be able to get a Carfax on the dealer's website. I told you, we use Carfax because Carfax is the only one right now that shows service records. The other auto check does not show service records. And I will not buy a car, and I would not suggest you ever buy a car without seeing service records. All right? That's what we do. Go ahead, shoot the next one up, Dolan. What does residual amount mean? Well, that's the amount that okay, so let's say when you lease, there's a percentage you pay for, and there's a back-end percentage. The back-end percentage is what they want the car back for, and they're going to sell it and, make money. Now, we'll see if we can sell it. We always see if we can sell a lease, if we can make money. We do an equity assessment at the end, but the residual amount, let's just say the car is broken into 2 halves. 40% is what you're going to pay for, and you're going to pay interest on that 40%. And then the 60% is what's left, and that goes back. That's what happens when the dealer comes back. That's when you give it back to the bank, not the dealership. That doesn't matter to us. We do not shop based on residual values, money factors. We do not shop based on that. We get bids because we can't control that. I've had people in the years come in, Wall Street finance guys come in with their finance calculators, asking me the money factor. And when I give them the money factor, we're converting it to an interest rate multiplied by 2,400. And they're like, okay, they're doing all this math and it's not going to help them because all they're doing is one-to-one negotiating. You don't get your best deal doing one-to-one negotiating. You get your best deal by making multiple dealers submit offers and bids. So you can know the residual all you want. You don't know the rebates. What if there's no rebates? You don't know that. You don't know you don't know if I'm an 80% dealer and I'm not going to discount, or I'm going to mark my car price up $2,000 and then take off that $2,000 and make you think you won. But all I did was take off the $2,000 that I was overcharging anyway. So you don't know who you're dealing with. That's why one-to-one never works. Sitting at home and getting bids from at least 5 dealers. My way is the 25 to 5. We're going to connect with 25 dealers online on their website. Send them my template. You can send them an email, letting them know what you want. In my book, I have links to my templates and my video library. You're using all my stuff and you're not talking. We connect with 25 and we're looking to get 5 to 7 offers. That's the only thing we can control. We can't control the residual amount. We can't control the money factor. We don't shop like that. It's not going to help you. In fact, it'll slow you down and it'll hurt you because you're overanalyzing things that don't even matter. And trust me, I love numbers. I love numbers. I was in calculus in 11th grade, so I can do this stuff in my daggone sleep. But what I don't want is to teach you to do that because I don't do that. It doesn't take that. None of these people that you see, look, when you see Eddie, matter of fact, he bought, hold on. When you see, look, let me show you Benita. Benita in the middle of the pandemic. The reason why I always show Benita is because in the middle of the pandemic, she got a Kia Telluride when people were paying 5-10 grand over sticker form. Kia Telluride, $600 a month, 36 months. She drove out. It's like a $46,000 vehicle. People were paying $800 a month. Some of you may know somebody who's leasing a Kia Telluride that they got during the pandemic. If they didn't put money down, they're paying $800 a month, $700 something a month, minimum. Now, one thing people will never tell you though is the money they put down. So don't even ask them because people tell you, oh, I'm paying $600 a month myself. They'll never tell you they put $4,000 down though, never. So, but yeah, when you are shopping like this, you're getting bids. She doesn't know what the deal is going to be until she shops. And when she shops, she doesn't care about the residual value. It doesn't matter to her the money factor. None of that stuff matters. The only thing that matters is let me get my bids and see who's going to win the bid. That's it. That's it. Go ahead. Shoot the next one up, Dolan. Let me put that banner back up. For all of you who just jumped on, this entire show is sponsored by my new digital book. It's called Cars from Home. 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. I'm the author of that book. I'm also the creator of the Cars from Home video library and the Cars from Home coaching program. You can get your book for 75% off in my TikTok bio. In my Instagram bio, it's normally $97, but you can get your copy for 75% off by going to my bios and getting it, or you can scan the QR code or go to DeshonesBook.com. 75% off for 30 minutes. All right? So get your copy. Everything I teach is in there, and you can reference it for life. All right. This one's from TikTok. When I see, we already did that one. I know you're snatching all the questions, but I tied that question in, even though you didn't post it. I tied that question into the other person who was asking about 0 down leases. All right. Thanks, Dolan. Okay. This is another one from TikTok. Lease mileages. Let's go, Instagram. Make sure you're typing your questions. All right. Make sure you type in your questions, Instagram. We live every day at 12 and 3. So let's see. TikTok. Lease mileage 10,000 under allowable. Does that value when getting next lease? No. What you're going to do is you're going to do an equity assessment. You are not going. How many people right now have dealers calling them, telling them to come in and they can get you out of your lease or they could trade you out of your car and put you in another car? How many people have either phone calls coming in, emails, or you get mail? Hey, Leo, good news. We need your 2019 car. We have somebody looking for that car. How many people are getting those emails or those calls right now? When you get those emails, look, all of them, look, look, I do every day, Matthew said. Look, so when you get those calls, what they're doing is we have automatic algorithms, like automatic technology that generates these lists for us. It's not that they saw your car exactly and they're like, oh, I love your particular car. So what you got to know is what's the goal? The goal is to get you to come in and get you to have them be your first offer on your vehicle. Now, we never want a dealer to be our first offer. Hold on, Tiffany. We never want a dealer to be our first offer. We want the dealer to be our last offer all the time when it comes to our car that we're replacing. So you're going to do something, Wanda, called an equity assessment. You're going to call the bank. You're going to ask the bank 2 questions if you're leasing. 1 question if you own. What's my payoff? That's the question everyone asks. If you're leasing, you're going to ask the second question. Do I have a third-party restriction? If they say no, then you need to write that down. If they say yes, you need to account for this. Once you hang up that phone call, you're going to do this equity assessment, which is going on the 6 websites I mentioned earlier: CarMax, Driveway, Carvana, Kelly's Blue Book Instant Cash Offer, AutoNation, Sell My Car, and Car Guru, Sell My Car. Every one of those sites, if they ask you, if you have a loan, if you are leasing, when they ask you, is the car owned, finance, leased, you're going to put owned. Don't put lease, because it triggers something in their website. They don't know how to separate third-party restrictions and not. And just so you know, for those of you who think you can't sell your lease because you have a third-party restriction, you're wrong. We sell leases with third-party restrictions. A third-party restriction doesn't mean you can't sell your lease. It means you can only sell your lease to a dealership that sells the same brand. So if I have a Nissan lease, I can only sell my lease directly to a Nissan dealer. And I'm selling and getting what? What's the best? What do we do? Bids. I'm not, every Nissan deal is not the same. So for those of you who had third-party restrictions, I saw a lot of people, I had to buy my car and resell. We don't do that. If you have equity, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 in equity in your lease, you are now going to sell that car to a local dealership, and we're going to get bids. I have a script in my book for talking to used car managers and getting bids from local used car managers. Now, if you don't have a third-party restriction, it's even easier. You're going to get those bids, those 6 bids, and you're going to sell to one of those. If you have a finance, it's even easier. Finance and no third-party restriction is pretty much the same. You're going to sell to the highest bidder of the online dealers. And if you have to replace your car, you're just going to keep those offers on hold, because some of you are going to say, well, I could make $3,000 selling my car, but I need to find my new car first. No problem. In my book, I teach something called timing the transaction. You're just going to put those offers on hold. You're going to start your shopping, and you're going to find the dealer who's going to win your bid to sell you the car. And then you're going to pick up your new car and sell your old car the same day. These companies cut you a check. This isn't like Facebook Marketplace. You go into CarMax, literally they inspect the car, they cut you a check, you leave with the difference. It's not a 2-3 day thing. This isn't like, oh, I need to. No, this is very simple to do. And that's the equity assessment process. We get bids on everything. Our old car, our new car we're buying, our loan. Everything's a bid. All right, everybody clear on that? If you're getting value out of the show so far, I want you to type $signs. If you're getting value out of the show so far, type $signs in the comments. I want to make sure that we're getting value out of what we're talking about. And then we're going to go to Tiffany's question. All right, I see you, Brandon. All right, perfect. All right, I see you, Denise. I see you, Terrence. I see you, user 977-163-105-3712. I see you, the Wildlife Diva. Perfect. 36 Chambers. Richard, I see you. Perfect. All right, wonderful. All right, shoot. Can you pull Tiffany's question up? I purchased the book and reviewed the email. How it hasn't downloaded since I did something wrong. Dominic, just as soon as you purchase the book, I give you a support email. Don't DM, because we have 2 million followers. We're blessed, thank God. DMs, we get hundreds of DMs. You get a support email. Let me know if you got it, and then just if there's anything, we'll get you the book. We'll send it to you manually. Okay. So just hit me with that. Just make sure you got it. All right. So Tiffany said, this is from TikTok, would you finance your lease at the end? 2018 Audi S5, 42,000 miles, 5K down, 12,000 miles. So when I talked to you earlier, you have to ask yourself the same question. If you were here earlier, the most important question is, how many years are you keeping the next car? You're going to ask yourself the same question right now, because you're about to buy another car. You have to see your lease. Buying your lease, you have to see it as buying another car. It's a used car. That's what you're doing. Hold on. Okay, LA Connects, do me a favor. Hold on. LA Connect, shoot me a DM. I'll look for your DM, and you get the support email. You don't get the support email. As soon as you purchase, the thank you page says, here's the support email. So, and check your spam and check your junk folder, okay? Because we got a pretty sophisticated email technology that is spot on most of the time. I'm not going to sit up here and tell you it's perfect, but I mean, we deliver a lot of books without issue. So sometimes it's in spam, sometimes it's in the junk folder. Okay, so that's how you have to see buying your lease. You're buying a used car. The only difference is it's your car. That's the only difference. You don't, instead of going to look for a used car, you're saying, I'm going to buy that used car. So the same question exists. How many years are you going to keep the car? Now, if you say 8, you're not going to break the 8-year rule. Then you could buy it. But if it's not 8, it makes 0 sense not to be shopping for another lease. I'm going to tell you why. One, the depreciation. And I'll talk to you about, I'll do a quick scenario of, because some people say, Deshone, when I buy used cars, they don't depreciate as much as used cars, but you still pay more than people who get great lease deals, than people who get great lease deals. You're still paying more money, and now you're paying more money for a for a worse car. So, but when you are looking at these scenarios, most people are going to finance for a 5-year or 6-year loan to buy their lease out. But you've already had the car for 3 years. So you have to say to yourself, what's the likelihood I'm going to keep this car that I've already had for 3 years for another 3 years? Tiffany, if you didn't get, if the new lease payment, if that's not the best offer out of 5 dealers, then that doesn't matter to me. Because we don't care about what one dealer says, especially a dealer who's going to try to you. Some of you are too loyal to these dealers, and you got to stop. I'm not loyal to any dealer. No one who listens to me is loyal to any dealer. We are done with being friends with dealers. We don't need to go to a barbecue with our car salesman. We don't need to do that anymore, because we need to make car salespeople compete and different dealers compete. Tons of people will walk in, get one quote from an old dealer or a dealer that sold them 2 cars, and that quote is $900 a month, and they're like, oh, I guess that's what the car costs. Not realizing, no, that's what the car costs from that dealer. That's what it costs from that dealer. Your competition is going to be $1,000 a month, $1,050 a month, $850 a month, $790 a month. I told you, when you shop the correct way, you are going to expose the dealers that are overpriced. That's why that person who came on here, who Dolan put that comment up that said, hey, I use your stuff, dealers can't hide. Because it's an exposing of the overpriced car dealers. We see the people who are overcharging us, because when we see that best offer is $790, and then we see another offer for $840, another offer for $890, another offer for $920, we realize all of those other higher price offers were taking a shot at us, hoping that we weren't going to shop them. But that's okay. We're buying from the 20% who beats their offers. So before we ever make a decision to leave, we must shop 5 offers, and none of you are going to realize that this is right. See, like I said, between my book, the Cars from Home Library, and my coaching program, we've helped 8,000 people since 2021. These are the numbers. 80% of dealers are overcharging you. And if you don't have multiple offers in front of you, at least 5, you're not going to ever find the best price dealers. And you don't do this the hard way, going into dealer to dealer to dealer. You do this sitting at home on these dealers' websites, requesting your offers, looking at offers strategically. That's why my book is called Cars from Home. My system is called Cars from Home. We spend time here. We're not in a dealership for more than 30 minutes. Okay, so getting back to your question about buying your lease, I'm not buying a used car. I'm not switching my strategy. The philosophy of going from a lease to a purchase is a total strategy shift. That means I'm going from a short-term person who doesn't like maintenance, who doesn't want to put more long-term, who doesn't want to keep a car long-term. I want to be under warranty most of the time. I want to drive cars for pennies on the dollar, compared to people who buy. Now I'm switching that to become a long-term person, because there's a different set of values when you're buying cars for 8 to 10 years to 12 years. That means I'm going to pay off my car. I'm going to get to the point where it's not depreciating a lot anymore. I don't care about having the latest and greatest. Once my car is paid off, I just got a car that's 7, 8 years, 9 years old, but I'm going to keep it in my family for a long time, and I'm going to win that way. I'm going to win by having that car 10 years. The longer I keep it, the less I paid for it. If I keep a car 15 years, the less I paid for it. I keep it 12 years, the less I paid for it. So it's two sides of the spectrum. That's why when you buy your lease, you're going from one mindset to an entirely different mindset of buying a used car. So the best thing to do is just learn how to shop the way I'm teaching you to shop, so that you can get great lease deals. They are out here. I showed you Bonita. Bonita got a great lease deal middle of the pandemic. Middle of the pandemic, when there was blood in the street, people coming out of car dealerships with axes in their head. That's how much they overpaid. That's how much they overcharged. They got 10,000 over sticker, 8,000 over sticker. Bonita's taking deals down. We've been doing this, but the only way you're going to get great deals is to stop shopping the way they want you to shop, and start shopping the way you should shop, which is being in control, making people bid for your business. And you're going to get entirely different results. You're going to realize, dang, these dealers been overcharging me. That's perfect. That's perfect. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. We got a couple more minutes. Try to get through as many as possible. All right, this one's from Instagram. I'm reaching out to dealers. Point. I'm ready to compare price. I don't know what to say. You don't talk. If you're doing it my way, you should be on their email. Now, if you're doing it the manual way, which I'm not even going to teach anymore. I used to say on some of the older broadcasts, I would say call, talk to a sales manager. But I want to do it by email. We go to a dealer's website, we use the contact tab, we tell them what we want, and then we're having conversations from there. Now we do that. We do that with 25 dealers. We always get a separate email. These are the little things that we must do to make our in my book, in everything I teach, it's for a reason. We get a separate email. We get a Google Voice phone number, because we're not talking to people. If we're talking to anybody, we're talking to sales managers. We are not talking to salespeople unless we're setting up a test drive. And even that, there's a way we do it. We want to talk to the most experienced salesperson. We want to talk to the person who has a great history, who everybody loves. We want to talk to the person, because the wrong salesperson won't even have the car ready for you when you get there to test drive. New salesperson just started, he over there, thinking about how he'll just, so we got to even act for the right salesperson to set up a test drive. But we're not talking. See, when you're not talking, you can stay out of emotion. Even the first time you use my stuff and you start using my scripts and my templates, you're still going to be a little emotional, unless you're just, some of you have a very like stoic personality. Some of you have a very, whether it's military or whether it's just your natural personality, you don't get emotionally involved. This is what you need to be. And some of you who are emotional, you're going to see there's no reason for me to be emotional anymore using this. I'm at home, I'm in control, I'm making people bid, and I'm not talking to people where they can get me emotional and I can say something that's going to hurt me or cost me money. So we are doing all of this online through their website, letting them know what we want, requesting our offers. And like I said, we do something called the 25 to 5 strategy, where we're connecting with 25 dealers online to get 5 quotes. That's how we shop for new cars and leases. Not used cars, new cars and leases. So you shouldn't be talking saying, I don't know what to say. You are reaching out to them. First thing we're going to do is let them know what we want. After we confirm the dealer has what we want, then we're going to request our quote and our offer. So that is what, and if you are shopping for a purchase, then we're requesting an all-in quote. We're requesting an total, all fees, everything included. And if we're shopping for a lease, I talked about earlier how we get our lease quotes and how the format that we have when we're shopping for our lease quote. So My book is $24 if you get it at the 75% off. In that book is my scripts. In that book is my templates where you fill in your information, you fill in the car you want, and I walk you through my entire process. I also have replies in there because there's going to be things that they say. These are trained people you're dealing with. We deal with trained salespeople. So when you are reaching out to them, they're going to say things like, hey, when can you come in? Hey, okay, I'm handling my entire process from home. And then you always end with a question. All my scripts end with a question. You should always end your email with a question, not a statement. So if they say, hey, we only car shop, we only give quotes in person. Okay, well, no other dealer that I'm talking to has said that. Should I remove you from my list, or are you gonna present an offer? Always a question, because you bounce the ball back to them. So all of my scripts and my replies are in there. This is what, and there's, but you need to keep the conversation on your agenda. You're having a conversation online with these dealers. And that's why I say separate email, Google voice number, dedicated, locked in. You don't want a bunch of car dealers' emails mixed in your personal email. That's not how we do it. That's going to mess you up. We do not do it like that. That'll confuse you. Now you're missing emails and all of that. Separate email. All right. Go ahead. Denise is asking, can you answer my question? I want to know if I have options. Can you find Denise's question from TikTok? Dolan? You see Denise's question? Give her a second. Thoughts on, while you do that, I'm going to enter this thoughts on leasing a Tesla. There's no price negotiation. There's no price negotiation. So there's no reason to get bids. You can't get bids on Tesla. Keep that up. I'm gonna get to that right after this. This is a short answer. What you need to do when you're leasing a Tesla is total out of pocket, first month payment, 12,000 miles per year. Divide the monthly payment into the MSRP, like I said. And if it's over 1.5%, you're paying too much for a car you're giving back. So we still need to know if the lease deal's good. We still need to know if the lease deal's good. Doesn't matter. Even if it's no negotiations. Plenty of people out there that got bad lease programs that are dependent on people who don't know what a bad lease program is to come in and lease the car. And until we stop leasing those cars at these bad lease programs, when we stop, that's when they'll change. All right. It's always a buyer's market for us. Go ahead. All right. So this one's from Denise. I have a Jag and need to downsize. I'm retired and upside down 14,000. See, here's the bad part about negative equity. The damage is done. I wish I was the person who could, give back. A lot of what I'm talking to y'all about is I'm shouting from the hills and warning you. It's up to you to take the warning. But in this particular case, with negative equity, the damage is done. Now, how do we get out of it? It's only two ways. I talked to you about that earlier. Now, in your particular case, now there's a third way. It involves the car. If the car is totaled or stolen and you don't recover it and you have gap insurance, then the car is. So I have to. I can't say there's not another way, but we can't plan on that. That's insurance fraud. So in the case of what's legal and ethical, you can only sell a car or trade into or replace it with another car. And in the case of negative equity, if you can't sell the car, pay the difference, go to YouTube. After this, I spent probably 8 to 10 minutes talking about how to get out of negative equity. There's 3 ways. 2 of them lead to a new car, 1 of them doesn't. If you can't use one of the 2 ways, which is paying the difference between what you owe and the highest bidder, then you have to transfer that to another car, in which case you have $14,000. What's your car payment? How much is your car payment? And if you need to downsize because you want a smaller car, okay, $769. If you need to downsize because what's the reason that you need to downsize? Is you need a lower payment, or you just need a smaller car? Lower payment or smaller car? Sometimes I need to ask more questions. This is why, we go, I have 3 things I created: the Cars from Home book, and the video library, and coaching. In particular cases, I need to ask more questions before we could give a custom answer. Lower payment. So you got to look at it like this. Most people should be transferring negative equity into a lease. Now, once you actually bring 14,000 over, and your negative equity amount should always be based on you getting the offers. It shouldn't be based on what you think or what a dealer told you the car is worth. So that's one thing. Let's start there. Equity assessment, you need to rewatch the show. You need to see that segment. If you have my book, you need to follow the segment on the equity assessment to find out what your real negative equity is. That is on a 39-month lease, bringing that over, you're talking about 14,000. That right there is $358 a month. You know what you possibly could do? Try listing the car on Swap a Lease. Now, if that payment is good for the car, let me see. Did we? You got a Jag. Depends on if $769 a month. Now watch this. If $769 a month is a good payment for that vehicle, then you can list it on Swap a Lease, and then you could have someone take over the payment, but it got to be a good deal. If they could go out and they could get a $600 payment on that same vehicle, then they're not going to take it over. So this is another option for you to consider. Now, if it might even be advantageous to you to list that car and contribute some. You might say, all right, I'll pay $100 and all right, my payment's $769, and I'll pay $100 and somebody take it over for $669. Whatever you need to list it for to get out of it, to have someone take it over, may be advantageous to do until the lease ends. And then you go and get yourself a very inexpensive car that you can qualify for, because if you have someone take over the lease till the end, you could probably go get yourself something, lower payment, but that car coming into the deal, you're going nowhere, because $14,000, unless you got cash. If you got some cash, then yes, cash can solve all things. Get the offers, follow the equity assessment. You might pay the difference or transfer it over. You can't transfer it over because, like I just said, your negative equity alone is $350 a month, and that's without the interest that's going to be. It's probably going to be about $380 a month. So what's the note? Yeah, so that's what you should consider. List the vehicle on Swap a Lease and see if somebody's willing to take it over. And if nobody's, okay, no problem. That's what you do. That's what you don't have that kind of money to contribute. 14K is a lot to be able to contribute. So so what you should do is do that. If you could get somebody, if no one takes it over for $769, then offer to contribute some money towards the deal every month. Now, if you, no matter what, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go in and probably, you're going to ask yourself the most important question for your replacement car. If you're not keeping 8 years, you should be looking to lease the next car and get yourself an inexpensive lease. If you are keeping it more than 8 years, then you can buy. But you're just going to use the same process. But you got to get rid of that car first. And I think with your scenario, that might be the best way to do it. All right. Good question, though. It's good question. Keep us posted. And, that's what we do. Look, we are live at 12 and 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, which means we'll be back in a few for the next segment today. You can come back. We got a lot of questions. We're not always able to get to them, but you can tell your friends. I haven't really announced it because I didn't know when I was going to be live, but now we'll get to the point where we can let you know 12 p.m. Eastern time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, we're live, but we rebroadcast these shows all throughout the day because people do get a lot of value out of the rebroadcast. But if you want to meet us live, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 12 p.m. and 3 p.m. Eastern time, bring your questions. And if you didn't know, my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships, is 75% off for 30 minutes, part of our welcome offer. So you can get yours in my TikTok bio or in my Instagram bio, or go to DeshoneBook.com in the comment section on YouTube or in the comment section on Facebook. Or if you're watching us on TV, you can scan that QR code. But that's what we do here, y'all. We peel back the onion. We make sure you know how to shop strategically. And I want you writing me with deals. I don't want you writing me showing me your car. Everyone's doing that. Hey, got the new G-Wagon, got the new BMW. Oh, your boy upgraded. Never talk about what we paid for it, though. I want you writing me saying, Deshone, look at the deal I got. This was the best offer. I made dealer's bid. This was the best used car within 100 miles. I'm driving an hour to go pick it up. When you're driving 45 minutes, an hour to go get your deal, that's when you really know you won. It's not always going to be that way. Sometimes local dealers will win the bid, but sometimes you're driving 45 minutes and you're driving 45 minutes because he's saving you $3,000. So that's what Cars from Home is about. That's what my book is about. You can get your copy instantly, 75% off for 30 minutes. And I'll see y'all on the next show. God bless.